students, welcome to Science Learning Gateway. I hope you all are doing good and fine and safe at your home. So today we will start class 10th ICSC Board Chemistry chapter number 1, and the name of the chapter is Periodic Table, Periodic Properties and Variation of the Properties. Means in this chapter we'll learn the concept of periodic table and the trends which are going in the periodic table, about the periodic properties and variation in detail in this chapter. Many of the students face problem in this chapter, so we'll start this chapter and I will make two or three videos of this chapter. Means part by part we'll read this chapter so that it is easy for you also to learn the topics, and at the same time you can do the revision also. So let's start with the chapter. Before starting, guys, I have a small request to you all. If you're really liking my channel, my video, my tutorial, then please like, share and subscribe my channel, which will motivate me to create more useful videos for you all. And don't forget to click on the bell icon to get the latest notification. Whenever I will be uploading a new video, you will get the notification in your mobile phone and you can look at that videos. Okay, so let's get started with the chapter. First of all, in the introduction section, what we will read, first of all you should know what are elements. Elements are present in the periodic table, but first question is, what are elements? Elements are the pure substances made of one type of atoms. Okay, in all the elements only one type of atom will be present. For example, our iron is the element. In that iron element only iron atoms will be present. In sodium element only sodium atoms will be present, and in magnesium elements only magnesium element will be present. At present we have 118 elements. Okay, at present we have 118 elements, out of which some of the elements are natural and some of them are man-made also. Okay, but previously what happened, during the early times only few elements were there, around 25 to 30 elements like that. So that times for scientists it was easy to learn their properties, but now 118 elements we have, so it's very difficult for us also to learn the properties of each and every element. So what scientists did, they have grouped the elements into groups and periods. Means the elements which are having the similar properties, they are placed in one group, and the elements which are having similar properties, they are placed in the next group. Like that they have differentiated the elements on the basis of their properties and placed them in the groups and the periods. So for various scientists came that time and they have given their views, and they have contributed a lot in making the periodic table, and for making the study also easier. So let's see which scientists were there who contributed in the classification of elements. The first scientist was Dobnier. Okay, the first scientist who made his contribution in the classification of element was Dobnier. What he did, he grouped the elements in three. Means only three elements he grouped in a particular order, and he called them as triads with similar properties, such that the atomic weight of the middle element was the arithmetic mean of the other two. Means what he did, he has grouped only three elements together, and those three elements have similar properties. And next thing what he said, that the atomic weight of the middle element, means the element which is in the center among the three, means the second element, will be the average of the atomic mean of the other two. For example, you can look in this table. What are the example, which elements were forming the triads in this? Lithium, sodium and potassium, they are forming one triad, means their properties are same. Chlorine, bromine and iodine, they are forming the same they are forming one triad and their properties are same. Likewise, calcium, strontium and barium, they are forming one triad and their properties are same. So he has given only, means he said he has observed only 9 elements in his classification. Means only 9 elements were given priority in his classification: lithium, sodium, potassium, chlorine, bromine, iodine, calcium, strontium, barium. Then the next point what he said, that the atomic weight of the middle element was the arithmetic mean of the other two. For example, atomic weight of lithium and potassium, if we take 7 is the atomic mass or the atomic weight of lithium, and 39 is the atomic mass of potassium. If we take a sum of 39 and 7, and if we divide these with 2, this will be the average, that is 23, and 23 is the atomic mass of sodium. So he said that the atomic weight of the middle element will be the mean or the average of the the arithmetic mean of the other two. Likewise for chlorine, bromine and iodine, if we take the atomic mass of chlorine and iodine and get a sum of this two and divide it with 2, we'll get 81.25. That is almost similar to the atomic weight of bromine. Likewise for calcium and barium, if we take the sum and divide it with 2, means we'll take the mean average of these two, then we'll get 88.5. That is the atomic weight of the strontium. That will be equal to the atomic weight of the strontium. So he said that what he did, he grouped the elements in 3 triads and with the similar properties, and the atomic weight of the middle element will be the arithmetic mean of the other two. Okay, means if you take the sum of the other two elements and divide it with 2, that will be equal to the atomic weight of the middle element in every cases. Okay, now some of the drawbacks were there in Dobner's classification also. Those drawbacks were removed by Newland's law of octaves. Now what he did, he observed that when elements are arranged in increasing order of their atomic masses, okay, what he said, that when the elements will be arranged in increasing order of atomic masses, means for example, first atomic mass 2 will come, after that atomic mass 4 will come, after that atomic mass 6 will come, like that if the elements will be arranged in increasing atomic masses, every eighth element beginning from any element resembles the first element in its physical and chemical properties. Okay, what he said, whenever the element will be arranged in increasing order of their atomic masses, the properties of the eighth element will be similar to the properties of the first element. Okay, from wherever we'll begin, the properties of the eighth element will be similar to the properties of the first element. Means all the physical and chemical properties of the first and the eighth element will be same. For example, starting from hydrogen, let's count from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Means the properties of hydrogen and fluorine will be same. If we start from lithium, now we will count from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The properties of lithium and sodium will be same. The properties of beryllium and magnesium will be same. The properties of boron and aluminium will be same. The properties of carbon and silicon will be same. Like that, from wherever you will begin, from there the properties of first and the eighth element will always be similar. Like a musical note, the properties of the first and the eighth element will similar. Means the physical and chemical properties will resemble. So this was Newland's law of octaves. You have to remember that whenever the elements will be arranged in their order of increasing atomic masses, the properties of eighth element will be similar to the properties of the first element. Next was Mendeleev's periodic table. Okay, Mendeleev, he has made one table that was known as Mendeleev's periodic table. Now we have the modern periodic table. Okay, but this was Mendeleev's periodic table. What he did, he gave the first periodic table of elements based on his law. Okay, he has made the first periodic table. The first periodic table which was there that time was known as Mendeleev's periodic table, and it was given by Mendeleev. And what he states, he stated that the properties of elements are the periodic function of their atomic masses. This was a statement given by Mendeleev, that the properties of the elements are the periodic functions of their atomic masses. Means the properties of element will depend on what? Will depend on atomic masses. This was the statement given by Mendeleev. So in exam the question comes, state Mendeleev's law. Then what you will write? According to Mendeleev, the properties of elements are the periodic functions of their atomic masses. Properties of element will be because of their atomic masses. This was a statement given by Mendeleev. He placed 63 elements known at that time. When he discovered the periodic table, how many elements were known? 63 elements were known. But now we have 118 elements. That time in vertical columns called groups. Okay. The vertical columns were called groups and the horizontal rows were called periods. In the groups and periods, he arranged the 63 elements known at that time. Okay. But in the Mendeleev's periodic table also many drawbacks were there. What was the drawback? He could not explain the position of certain elements. Which elements he could not explain? The rare earth metals and the isotopes. He has not given the place for these elements. The rare earth metals and the isotopes were not given place in the periodic table, in Mendeleev's periodic table. So his drawbacks were removed by Henry Moseley. Okay, the drawbacks which were present in Mendeleev's periodic table were removed by Henry Moseley. The defect of Mendeleev's periodic table was removed by Henry, and he put forward the modern periodic table, which was based on atomic number. Okay, the drawbacks which were there in Mendeleev's periodic table were removed by Henry Moseley, and he has given which periodic table? The modern periodic table, and the modern periodic table was based on atomic number. You have to remember, the modern periodic table was based on atomic number, and the Mendeleev's periodic table was based on atomic masses. Okay, it was based on atomic masses, and the modern periodic table was based on atomic number. Means in modern periodic table, the elements were arranged according to their atomic numbers. Moseley stated that. Now, what was the statement given by Moseley? The physical and chemical properties of the elements are the periodic function of their atomic number. Just opposite to that, Mendeleev said that the properties of elements are the periodic function of their atomic masses, but Moseley said that the physical and chemical properties of the elements are the periodic function of their atomic number. Means in modern periodic table, the properties of elements will be based on their atomic numbers, not on the basis of their atomic masses. Later on, Niels Bohr gave the extended form of the table known as a long form of the modern periodic table. Okay, next, the next scientist who was there, Niels Bohr, he gave the long form of the modern periodic table. Now let's have a quick look on the definition of periodic table. What is periodic table? A tabular arrangement of elements in groups. Groups are called vertical columns, and periods, that is horizontal rows. Highlighting the regular trends in properties of element is called a periodic table. So what is periodic table? Periodic table is a tabular arrangement of elements in groups and periods, highlighting their regular trends and properties. Means highlighting means their properties are shown in the groups and the periods. That is called a periodic table. So say in simple words, you can write that periodic table is a tabular arrangement of elements in groups and period, highlighting their regular trends of in properties. So this was all about your periodic table. Now see, look at this table. This is the periodic table. In this, from group number 1 to 18, we have 18 groups. And how many periods we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 periods we have in this periodic table. Okay, in total 18 groups are there and 6 periods are there. So these vertical columns are called your groups, and the horizontal rows from left to right are called your periods. So this is the modern periodic table, and the lanthanides and the actinides were not given the place in the main body of the periodic table. They are shown at the bottom of the periodic table. Okay, because there are many lanthanides and actinides. They were not given the place in the main body of the periodic table. They have been given the place at the bottom of the periodic table. Next, now we'll look at the silent features of the modern periodic table. About the groups and the periods we'll read in this topic. First of all, we'll look at the groups. Okay, so what are groups? Groups are the vertical columns. In modern periodic table, 18 vertical groups are there, and they are called groups. Okay, the modern periodic table has 18 vertical columns known as groups. You have to remember the vertical columns are called groups. And how many groups are there in the modern periodic table? 18 groups, which are arranged from left to right in the order of increasing atomic number. You can see the groups from left to right. It is starting from group number 1, 2, 3, 4 till 18. From left to right, the groups are arranged on the basis of their increasing atomic number. Each group accommodates elements with the same number of electrons in the outermost shell. For example, in group number 1, all the elements will have the same number of outermost electrons or the valence electron. Outermost electrons or the valence electrons means the electrons which are present in the last shell. In group number 1, all the elements like hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium, all those elements have only one electron in the valence shell or the outermost shell. For example, sodium has atomic number 11. So its electronic configuration will be 2, 8 and 1. Only one electron in the outermost shell. Lithium has atomic number 3. If you will write the electronic configuration, it will be 2, 1. One electron in the outermost shell. So all the elements in group number 1 will have only one electron in the valence shell. So in every other groups also, suppose in group number 2, all the elements will have the same number of valence electron in the outermost shell or the outermost electron. Valence electron, outermost electron means the electrons which are present in the last shell. Okay, so in group number 2, only 2 electrons will be present in the last shell. In group number 3, 3 electrons will be present in the last shell. Like that, only in every group the elements will have the same number of valence electron or the outermost electrons. Okay, first we will start with group number 1. The elements which are present in group number 1 are known as alkali metals. Okay, the elements which are present in group number 1 are known as alkali metals. Remember this one. Except hydrogen. Okay, except hydrogen, like lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, or all are called alkali metals, and they form strong alkalis with water. Whenever they will combine with water, they will form a strong alkali. That's why they are known as alkali metals. For example, sodium. When we will react sodium with water, what we will get? NaOH. And NaOH, sodium hydroxide, is a very strong alkali. Next, group number 2. Group number 2 elements are called alkaline earth metals. They are called alkaline earth metals. Okay, what are the elements which are present in group number 2? See, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium. So you have to remember at least 2 or 3 elements which are present in group number 1, like lithium, sodium, potassium. You can remember for group number 1. So sometimes question are asked, write 2 or 3 examples of alkali metals, or write the example of some elements which are present in group number 1. That time you can write lithium, sodium, potassium. And for group number 2, you can remember beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium. Okay. Now, so group number 2 elements are called alkaline earth metals. Examples: beryllium, calcium, magnesium, strontium. Group number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Means from group number 3 to 12. These elements are known as transition elements. Okay, from group number 3 to 12 we have the transition elements. All the elements of these groups are metals. They have their 2 outermost shell incomplete. All the elements from group number 3 to 12 we have all are metals, and they have their outermost shell there, and they have their 2 outermost shell incomplete. Okay, since their outermost shell is incomplete, that's why they are known as transition metals. As you know that in the periodic table, metals are also present, non-metals are also present, and metalloids are also present. Left hand side of the periodic table, metals are present. On the right hand side of the periodic table, non-metals are present, and a zigzag line separates the metals from the non-metals. These are known as metalloids. Metalloids have the properties of metals also and non-metals also. Okay, so these are a zigzag line which separates a metal from the non-metal are called metalloids. Example of metalloids are gallium, and these elements are called the group from group number 3 to 12. We have to remember that these are the transition elements. They all are metals, and they have their outermost shell incomplete. Now group number 13 is known as boron family, since boron is the first member of that group. Group number 14 is called carbon family, since carbon is the first member of that group. Group number 15 is called nitrogen family, since nitrogen is the first member of the group. And group number 16 is called oxygen family, and it is also known as chalcogens, meaning ore forming, means elements in this group can form ores. That's why they are known as chalcogens also. Group number 17 are called halogens. The elements which are present in group 17 like chlorine, bromine, iodine, these are called halogens because they can form salts also. Now group number 18, that is zero group. Why it is called zero group? Because the valencies of the element in this group is zero. They will not react with any other element. They are very unreactive. Elements of this group are also called noble gases or inert gases. These elements have their outermost shell complete. Due to stable electronic configuration, they are unreactive. Okay, so group number 18 elements are also called noble gases or inert gases. Their outermost shell is complete, means either they will have 2 electrons in the outermost shell, or most of the elements will have 8 electrons in the outermost shell. So they are forming an octet. Their outermost shell is complete, so they don't want to react with any other element. Neither they want to give electron, neither they want to accept electron. So they are inreactive. They are unreactive, or they are stable also. They don't want to react with any other elements, and their valencies is 0. Since they have since they have complete electronic configuration, their valency is also 0. Next topic is periods. So what are periods? We have in the periodic table 7 horizontal rows. Okay, in the modern periodic table we have 7 horizontal rows, and these are known as periods. The horizontal rows in the modern periodic table are called periods. 18 groups are there and 7 periods are there. You have to remember that thing. The number of shells present in the atom determines its period. Okay, How we can determine the period of an element? It can be determined by the number of shells present in an element. Suppose an element has 2 shells, then that element will be present in which period? Second period. Suppose the element has 3 shells, then that element will be present in the third period. Suppose the element has 4 shells, then that element will be present in the fourth period. Suppose we take an example of sodium. Atomic number of sodium is 11. If you will write the electronic configuration, it will be 2, 8, 1. Okay. How many shells are there? In the first shell, 2 electrons will be present. In the second shell, 8 electrons will be present. And in the third shell, 3 electrons will be present. 1 electron will be present. So, in sodium, 3 shells are present. So, in which period sodium will be present? It will be present in the third period. Okay, so sodium will be present in the third period. Suppose we take the example of aluminium. Atomic number of aluminium is 13. What will be its electronic configuration? 2, 8, 3. It also has 3 shells. First shell, second shell and the third shell. So aluminium is also present in the third shell. Suppose we take the example of lithium. Atomic number of lithium is 3. Electronic configuration is 2, 1. In the first shell, 2 electrons are present. In the second shell, 1 electron is present. So it has only 2 shells. So it is present in the second period. Okay. So like this you can determine the period by counting the number of shells. Suppose the element will have 5 shells, then it will be present in the fifth period. So number of shells present in the element will determine its period also. Now the lanthanides. Lanthanides are also known as rare earth or group 3 of the 6th period. They are present in the third group of the 6th period, and actinides are also known as radioactive. They are also present in the group 3 of the 7th period, have similar properties. Why these lanthanides and actinides have similar properties? Because all the elements will belong to the same group, that is group number 3. They are present in the bottom of the periodic table. Okay, when I have shown you the periodic table, that time I have said that lanthanides and actinides are present at the bottom of the periodic table because they are very large in number. If they will be present at the body of the periodic table, then they can distort the shape of the periodic table. It means the shape of the periodic table will become distorted. It will not be proper that time. So that's why lanthanides and actinides are present at the bottom of the periodic table. A period is determined by the number of shells and a group is determined by the number of electrons present in the outermost shell. So this we have read that how the period will be determined. It will be determined by the number of shells. Suppose the element is having 3 shells, then it will be present in the third period. If the element is having 4 shells, then the element will be present in the fourth period. When we have taken the example of sodium, I have told you that atomic number of sodium is 11. Electronic configuration is 2, 8 and 1. 2 electrons will be present in the first shell, 8 electrons will be present in the second shell and 1 electron will be present in the third shell. So altogether sodium is having 3 shells. So sodium will be present in the third shell. For example, lithium. Lithium is having only 2 shells, 2 and 1. In the first shell 2 electron, in the second shell 1 electron. So only 2 shells are present in lithium. So lithium will be present in which period? It will be present in the second period. So number of shells will determine the period, and group is determined by number of electrons present in the outermost shell. For example, in case of sodium, when we will write the electronic configuration 281, how many electrons are present in the outermost shell? Only 1 electron is present in the outermost shell. So sodium will present in which group? It will present in the first group. Sodium is present in the first group. You can check in the periodic table that sodium is present in the first group. For example, in case of lithium, only 1 electron is present in the outermost shell. So lithium will also be present in the first group. Next, in case of aluminium, atomic number is 13. Electronic configuration is 283. How many electrons are present in the outermost shell? 3 electrons. So it is present in which group? It is present in third group. Okay. So number of outermost electron will determine the group of the element. Suppose the element will having 4 electron in the outermost shell, then that element will be present in the fourth group. So number of valence electron or the outermost electron will determine the group, and number of shells will determine the period. Okay, this is what we have learned about periods and groups over there. I hope you all have understood what we have discussed today. We have discussed that the three scientists were there who made their contribution in classification of element. First was Dobner. He has made three elements in the group. He has classified three elements in the group of three, and that he called as triad. And the properties of all the elements were similar, and the atomic mass of the middle element will be the average of the atomic mass of the other two elements. Next, Newland, what he said, he arranged the elements on the basis of increasing atomic masses, and the properties of every eighth element will be similar to the properties of the first element. Next, Mendeleev gave the modern periodic table. Mendeleev gave the Mendeleev's periodic table, and he stated that the properties of elements are the periodic function of their atomic masses. That time only 63 elements were there, and he arranged those elements in vertical columns called groups and horizontal rows called periods. But the drawback was also there in Mendeleev's periodic table, that he has not explained the position of rare earth metals and the isotopes. Next, the next scientist came Henry Moseley. He removed the drawbacks of the Mendeleev's periodic table, and he arranged the elements on the basis of atomic number. And what was the statement given by Henry Moseley? That the physical and chemical properties of elements are the periodic function of their atomic number. Next scientist was Niels Bohr. He gave the long form of the periodic table. And what was the definition of the periodic table? A periodic table is a tabular arrangement of element in groups and periods, highlighting the regular trends in properties of element. This is what we have read about the periodic table. 18 groups are there and 7 periods are there. Next, we have read about the features of the modern periodic table. About the groups, we have read that altogether 18 groups are there, and the 18 vertical columns present in the periodic table are called groups. And group number 1 are called alkali metals, group number 2 are called alkaline earth metals, from group number 3 to 12 are called transition metals. 13 is your boron family, 14 is carbon family, 15 is nitrogen family, 16 is oxygen family, also called chalcogens, 17 is your halogens, and group number 18 is also called noble gases or inert gases. Okay, next was our period. The horizontal rows, the 7 horizontal rows in the modern periodic table are called the periods. And what determines the period in the periodic table? The number of shells present in the atom of an element will determine the period. For example, if the element will have 2 shells, then that element will be present in the second period. If the element will have 3 shells, then that element will be present in the third period. And the group is determined by the number of valence electrons or number of outermost electrons in the particular element. Suppose in case of sodium, we have read that atomic number is 11. Electronic configuration is 281. One electron is present in the outermost shell. So sodium will be present in which group? In group number 1. Okay, this what we have read. We will discuss till here only today. The rest of the topic will cover in the next tutorial. Till then, you can revise these topics, and you can, if you have any doubt, you can comment in the comment section. Thank you for watching my channel Science Learning Gateway. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. And if you really like this tutorial, then please share it with your friends also. And do like, share and subscribe my channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon to get notified. Next video I will be uploading soon, so please get connected with this channel. Thank you.